The film begins with a man named Kiyama Shoichi, who is about to start his new position as a teacher at Meikyo High School. Kiyama appeared to be in a hurry to get to school that morning, believing he was running late. On the other hand, a woman identified as Okabe Karuko is seen calling her mother. Like Kiyama, Okabe is a new teacher at Meikyo High School. Okabe met 3 students in the women's restroom who didn't seem to care. She even caught one of them carrying cigarettes to school. Meanwhile, Kiyama, who had just arrived at school, discovered 3 pupils bullying an elderly janitor. The children did not hesitate to accept the old man's onigiri, who turned out to be the principal. Kiyama, who had just learned that the old man standing in front of him was the principal, bowed politely to him. Following that, the kids gathered in the school gym to hear Kiyama and Okabe's welcome statements as the school's new instructors. However, the students were preoccupied with their own activities and entirely disregarded Kiyama and Okabe, who were standing on the podium. Even though Kiyama and Okabe were aware of Meikyo High School's negative reputation, they did not expect the students to disrespect their professors. However, Kiyama and Okabe were startled when the principal simply requested the kids to return to school the next day and made no mention of the pupils' terrible behavior. Rikiya, a male student, entered the school gym shortly after on his scooter. Rikiya appeared calm, knowing that he would not be reprimanded. A male teacher called Harada then chastised Rikiya for bringing his motorcycle to school and instructed him to immediately park it in the playground. What astonished Kiyama even more was that Harada was as relaxed as the principal, who appeared delighted and pleased that Rikiya had come to school today. Kiyama believed that the school's difficulties were caused not just by the children, but also by the teacher's peculiar and unusual behavior. In general, teachers will issue a severe warning to students who violate. However, at Meikyo High School, the teachers don't appear to mind, and instead ask their kids to return to school the next day with a bright smile. After school, the principal invites all of the teachers to a bar to celebrate Kiyama and Okabe's arrival. Kiyama and Okabe were then asked to describe their first impressions of the Meikyo High School students. They also publicly questioned why the professors allowed the kids to do anything they wanted, such as coloring their hair, getting piercings, wearing too much makeup, and even driving a motorcycle into the school's indoor area. The principal and teachers did not deny that the pupils were problematic. However, the kids had no other purpose because all of the schools had refused their presence. If Meikyo High School followed stringent rules like other schools, such students would stop coming to school and had no other reason. Dimano, a male instructor, informed Kiyama and Okabe that many of the school's students hailed from low-income households and had to work hard to support their families' finances. As a result, the principal at Meikyo High School only has one rule. Students are free to do whatever they want as long as they attend to school and wear their school uniforms. The principal then asked Kiyama and Okabe to assist them and try to become acquainted with the students so that they could comprehend the circumstances faced by the problem students. The next day, Kiyama sought to follow the principal's instructions by approaching 3 male students who were relaxing. However, they did not recognize him, so Kiyama announced himself as the school's new gym teacher. Kiyama then invited the 3 of them to take gymnastics instruction. However, a pupil named Kakiru stated that he did not enjoy sports courses. Following that, Kiyama met with Rikiya and greeted him warmly. However, Rikiya did not recognize Kiyama and instead walked away. Okabe, who was teaching English in class, appeared irritated that a group of females were not paying close attention to the lesson. When she reprimanded them, a student called Misaki abruptly fled the classroom. Misaki's friends informed Okabe that she had been feeling queasy since this morning and asked him to check on her. When Okabe caught up with Misaki, who was in the toilet, she was astonished to discover a pregnancy test pack in the garbage and recognized it was Misaki's. Okabe promptly took the test pack and brought it to Harada, the vice principal. Harada then asked Okabe to assist Misaki in dealing with the matter. Meanwhile, during sports lessons, Kakeru was seen sitting on the sidelines. Kiyama then contacted him and invited him to attend sports instruction. However, Kiyama is hit by a basketball throw instead. It did not stop there. The students also pranked Kiyama by gluing his shoes, causing him to stumble and strike his head. Okabe, on the other hand, encounters Misaki when she is smoking in the restroom and chastises her for doing so, as it is harmful to the fetus's health. Misaki became astonished when Okabe asked her to inform her about her concern. Misaki then asked Okabe to step into the bathroom cubicle, explaining that she didn't feel comfortable talking to someone who could see her face. Okabe obeyed Misaki's comments, believing that Misaki was telling her the truth. However, it appears that Misaki locks Okabe in the toilet and dumps water on her. Kiyama in the teacher's room had already completed his resignation letter and was about to pass it over to the principal. However, Okabe, who arrived after him dripping wet, went out of him by stating her intention to transfer to another school. Harada and the other professors eventually revealed that they, too, had been subjected to student pranks. However, they chose not to be concerned because the students' unpredictable emotions made it impossible to articulate their difficulties. After receiving Harada's suggestion, Kiyama and Okabe abandoned their plans to resign. Following that, Harada informed Kiyama that Kakeru was actually quite talented at sports when he was in middle school and requested him to covertly follow him. Kakeru has 3 younger siblings who he needs to pick up from school every day. While following Kakeru home, Kiyama noticed Kakeru's younger sister moaning about having to buy food. With no money, Kakeru attempts to persuade his sister by offering her some onigiri he stole from the principal. Kakeru then shared the onigiri with his 3 younger siblings. When Kakeru arrived home, he prepared dinner for his 3 younger siblings using homemade items. In fact, it is not uncommon for him to be prepared to skip meals as long as his 3 younger siblings are not hungry. When Kiyama and Okabe headed home that night, they happened to run across Rikiya, who had a damaged face from a battle. They approached Rikiya, who was shivering with fright, and asked him what had happened. However, Rikiya reasoned that he had only fallen and, with a big smile, stated that he was okay and would soon come home. The next day at school, Kiyama informed Harada and the other teachers about Rikiya's health. Hearing this, the teachers instantly expressed sympathy and worry for Rikiya. Meanwhile, Okabe returns to Misaki and proposes that she have her pregnancy checked by a doctor. Okabe was even willing to enter the bathroom stall so Misaki could chat to her. Okabe stated that she had been researching pregnancy-related information to assist Misaki. Not only that, but she offered to accompany Misaki to the obstetrician when Misaki expressed her desire to give birth to the baby. Kiyama, on the other hand, returned to Kakeru, who was reluctant to attend gym class, citing stomach pain. However, Kiyama later discovered that Kakeru was starving, and he refused to attend gym classes because he did not want to engage in difficult activities that made him hungry. Kiyama knew this and handed Kakeru bread, but Kakeru threw it out instead. Kiyama then took it up again and gave the bread to Kakeru, reminding him not to waste food. Following that, a female teacher called Raiko informed Kiyama that there was writing on the chalkboard mentioning her. Kiyama rushed there and discovered an inscription stating that he would provide bread to anyone who was hungry. Not long later, Kiyama was approached by students who claimed to be hungry and requested him for bread. After school, Rikiya meets Kiyama and labels him a hypocrite who enjoys pitying others, something he despises. After that, Rikiya returned home to find his mother intoxicated and the house in disarray. Rikiya attempts to get his mother to quit drinking so much, but she kicks him out of the house instead. He chose to sleep on a park bench because he had nowhere else to spend the night. The next day, the school receives word that Rikiya's wallet has been found in the park. Because Rikiya did not go to school and could not be reached, Kiyama took the initiative to return the wallet to him. However, as Kiyama arrived in front of Rikiya's residence, he noticed Rikiya step out with a bruised face. Kiyama forced his way into Rikiya's home to meet his parents after discovering he had been abused. But Rikiya insisted that he simply fell and that his mother had done nothing to him. Kiyama then brought Rikiya to the park and asked him to explain what had transpired. Following that, Kiyama invited him to eat ramen noodles, and they had a good chat. When Rikiya arrived home, he told his mother that his teacher had treated him to ramen. He then promised his mother that he would take her to ramen noodles after he received his salary from a part-time job. His mother, on the other hand, stated that she would be held accountable for failing to adequately care for him and frequently abandoning him. Following the incident, Kiyama learned that Rikiya's mother had committed herself. Rikiya appeared sorrowful and distraught because he had lost his only family. He then read his mother's final message on his cell phone, in which she apologized for being a horrible mother and constantly abandoning him. Kiyama, on the other hand, was astonished to learn that Rikiya would be changing schools because he would be living with his aunt outside of the city after his mother died. Kiyama then met Rikiya and helped him pack his belongings. After that, he apologized to Rikiya for not being able to assist him when he most needed it. But Rikiya didn't mind. Instead, he begged Kiyama to be more attentive and considerate, because many pupils at their school were in far worse situations and required assistance. Meikyo High School has a new teacher, Tachibana Kumiko, who will be the librarian. Kumiko seeks to resuscitate the library by repainting it and preparing food from contributions for the students' benefit. As the new semester began, Kiyama was ultimately appointed as a homeroom teacher in Kakeru's class. He then invited his students to complete a questionnaire regarding their future job goals. However, a few pupils failed to complete the questionnaire or filled it out carelessly. Harada then informed Kiyama that the majority of Meikyo High School students have worked many part-time jobs to maintain their families' economies. They may be pessimistic about attaining their goals and following the career they choose because their family's financial situation does not allow it. After receiving some advice and direction from Kumiko, Kiyama led a career consultation session for the students in his class. Initially, the pupils were hesitant to join the consultation session. However, because Kiyama worked so hard to persuade them, the pupils were melted. Akuru is the first student to come in for a consultation, telling Kiyama that he wants to start working part-time after graduating from school to supplement his income. Because Kakeru is a competent cook, Kiyama advises that he strive to become a chef and begin at the restaurant where he works as a dishwasher. Following that, two girls named Lulu and Himeki attended a consultation session and told Kiyama about their desired careers. Lulu wants to be a beautician, and Himeki wants to be a nanny. However, their goals were stifled by the costly cost of training. Misaki is resolved to drop out of school after giving birth, despite Okabe's efforts to urge her to continue her studies until graduation. However, Misaki stated that Meikyo High School had a horrible reputation, so graduating or not from there would be the same. Soon after, Himeki was given the opportunity to intern as a nanny at a daycare center. However, because she worked a part-time job till late at night, Himeki frequently overslept and was eventually fired. Seeing this, Kiyama understood that Meikyo High School students would find it difficult to complete unpaid internships since they were too busy working part-time to support the family economy. As a result, he and the other teachers sought for internships that would allow students to make money while also learning. However, in the end, their efforts were ineffective. Kiyama once attended an educational conference and was given the opportunity to deliver a speech from the podium. He then used the opportunity to discuss the genuine circumstances of Meikyo High School students, revealing that 80% of them had to work hard to support their families. As a result, their academic performance suffered, and they frequently found themselves in difficulty. However, these are youngsters that require assistance and care from the community in order to reach their goals and have a better life in the future. After hearing Kiyama's very humanistic speech, many of the business owners gave him a business card and promised to assist the students in finding internships and earning a living. Long story short, the students were able to secure internships that suited their interests and goals. Kakeru is a restaurant cook, Lulu is training to be a beautician, and Himeki works as a babysitter. The film concludes with Kiyama visiting Rikia at an auto repair business, where Rikia now works as a mechanic. Rikia seemed pleased to see him and served him ramen noodles. The lesson of this film is that true care and concern for others, in whatever shape it takes, has a significant influence and impact on that person. This film depicts professors who truly understand and accept their students' situations as they are, which ultimately gives the students more confidence in attaining their goals and realizing their aspirations, despite the fact that they come from poor backgrounds.